things. I agree with him on the issue of the war in Iraq. So I'll put him in there, even though he's really not what I would consider a libertarian, but it's not my right to say, you're not a fucking libertarian, because then I would be hard case myself. Oh yeah. What is the most bizarre PM you have ever received? This guy wrote me saying, I am the stud's brother, and I am the champion of the world at some martial art form, and I will kick your ass if you ever make fun of Christianity again. I am no, he was Muslim, sorry. I will beat your ass, and I am Muslim, and if you ever insult Islam, I will beat you down, and you are a faggot. And it was all really poorly spelled. I mean, probably the most terrible spelling possible. It was like it was so awful that you could barely fucking read it. That was probably the weirdest I ever got. So yeah. How many guinea pigs can fit into a viola case? 9? Maybe? 9 sounds good, right? 9 is a good even number. That's actually an odd number. I told you I didn't like math, though. Does having a beard make your chin itchy, or do bearded people just scratch their chins to seem more intellectual? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, both, maybe. I don't know. You ever do this when you're thinking? You kind of put your finger here, or maybe you do this, you kind of do this thing where you pull back your hair. There's a lot of things people do when they think. Some people pull on their earlobe. If you have chin hair, it just seems like a natural thing to do when you're contemplating something like, I wonder what I would have to do to fuck Scarlett Johansson in the ass. So it's just a natural thing. It just happens like that. You said you had been emo lately. What exactly does the word mean to you? And has it been bad for you somehow to be emo and not your usual amazing self, or was it sometimes the real you that you don't show YouTube so often? Well, basically, anytime someone is real, we give them a label like goth or emo, because when people are their actual, genuine, depressed fucking selves and they fall apart on camera, we tend to say, oh, he's a fucking emo motherfucker. We used to say goth. We used to have this thing on the Manson boards I used to frequent where people would say, oh my goth. And that was kind of a way to insult someone being whiny, which is another word of saying being honest. Honesty is not respected. Remember that, children. Why can everyone else draw well, but I can't draw worth a shit? And who do you think should be the next prez? Well, I already answered the president question, so I'll answer the drawing question. Have you considered practicing? Sometimes if you don't have a lot of natural talent, you can still acquire a bit of technical skill, if you don't have any natural talent whatsoever, then you're not going to become the next fucking Rembrandt or whatever. But, you could still learn the basic skill, I think. I don't think it's beyond the reach of someone who's not, gifted necessarily from the beginning. Hey man, I think you're awesome, but I wonder if you ever get the chance to take some kind of leadership in a strong atheistic movement that began to someday be the majority of people in the U.S., would you take it, and would you make atheism more gullible to everyday people? Sorry for my English, I'm Swedish. Okay, well, the Swedish thing gets you off on the bad grammar, but here's the thing. I don't think that I'm the right leader for any sort of atheist movement that's going to bring us into the majority, because really I think that my kind of atheism ostracizes us further. It really makes us the more dangerous element of society, and that position is sexy to me. The atheists that are trying to move us away from that are the kind of my enemies in a strange way, but not really. I mean, I appreciate what they're doing and I see their point, and moving to a more secular society is a noble goal. But really, there's a big thrill in being part of the counterculture. And if I was to lead an assault, like I've always said, I'm more interested in being the Malcolm X. I'm not interested in being the MLK. That's just my mentality. You said you were always a prodigy in one of your videos, but in other videos you said you were a poor student. Can you explain that? Well, I was a prodigy in the sense that I was very intelligent and I excelled at whatever I really tried to do. I was a poor student because schoolwork wasn't any of the things I actually tried to do. I found school very pointless from a very young age, and I didn't put any effort into it whatsoever. I would hand in tests with blatantly wrong answers, like, you know, they'd ask me, like there was this Romeo and Juliet test, and they asked something about Romeo's motivation or something, and I answered by saying, "Pie is good when served with spit," which makes, of course, no sense, but that's the kind of shit I used to put on tests because I just didn't give a shit. I still wouldn't. It's pointless. If you met Jesus, would you kick him in the balls or punch him in the face? I'd go with the face because I'm not even sure that Jesus has balls, because a lot of those religious fucks are eunuchs. Would you fight Kimbo on camera? That's a really badass guy. You can see his videos on YouTube. Just go type Kimbo, you'll see his ass. Maybe if he agreed to have like one hand tied behind his back or something, and I could have like 6 months to train for it, then I might do it. But otherwise, no. I hope I'm not too late in asking this, but what is your take on near-death experiences? Well, they, you know, there's been physiological mechanisms that can account for a lot of that stuff, and I find it really strange that near-death experiences permeate every single culture, regardless of the predominant religion in that culture. And I find it kind of strange that it seems that some people have them, some people don't at all. I mean, how come no one ever sees hell? I mean, I never hear about anyone dying and going to hell and coming back. I've heard Christian preachers talk about it, but of course, you know, they're full of shit. I've never seen an interview with an actual person who believed that they went to hell and come back from it. I always hear things about the light, and you hear various descriptions of what the light was like and such. But it doesn't, you know, I mean, there's obviously something going on, but I don't see any reason to believe it's anything but a biological phenomena. Planetary or death proof, which will be better? I'm talking of Grindhouse, of course. Well, it's a really interesting question because Quentin Tarantino is a better director than Robert Rodriguez, but